Bryn hears the news about the other town and doesn't look at her party, but motions over to him.
Flaps your hand in the general direction of the party.
Yeah, like moves her head over, like, that may have been us.
Say.
Did Chris crash this time?
Are we live?
Yeah.
Oh, it came. Oh. All right. I was waiting for the. Okay.
No.
For like the welcome back. Sorry about
No.
the technical problems.
Just go.
You guys were in Vienna. What happened? I mean, sorry. Where are my manners? Can I get you something else?
She continues to stack bowls.
No, I can take care of that, honest.
Well, I think me and the dwarf want some mead.
Do you have anything stronger than mead or ale?
We've had a guest here that's been drinking a lot of our hard liquor, but I think I can scrounge up a bottle of whiskey or two that we still have left.
What time of day is it?
It's like 2-3 in the afternoon.
5 o'clock somewhere.
How much hard liquor has this guest of yours been drinking?
It's been
1 week since you looked at me.
That's your one. Okay.
Fair enough.
This person's been here for about 3 days, and I think we've gone through 5 bottles.
Narroth looks over. This person doesn't happen to go by the name Yvette when conscious, does she?
I'm pretty sure she does.
Yeah,
Blonde lady?
This is blonde human, she appears to be wearing, some sort of armor, carries a sword, but doesn't, didn't really talk much, just sort of came in here, drank, and argued about politics.
She's sleeping right now?
Probably. She doesn't normally arise while the sun is out.
Ooh, let's go and make a little ruckus.
Narroth looks around. Leave me out of that. I've seen her when she first wakes up in the morning. Things tend to die.
That's fine.
We'll be okay.
Yeah.
Until we die.
Narroth shakes his head and walks on over beside the fireplace, which I'm assuming there is one.
Yeah.
And he's going to take a seat and warm up.
Perfect. Drinks?
Bring out the good stuff.
Cool. So he gets there. It's a decent bottle of whiskey. It's not anything amazing, but, you know, it's good middle of the road.
It does the job.
So, it's not saying Jow tequila, huh?
If you're looking for Yvette, I think she has a room on the second floor. You can probably hear her snoring.
Also, while I get your attention, do you have any like suite of rooms, like rooms connected to maybe like a common room that we could all sort of?
Oh yeah. Our third floor, you can get it's normally 4 rooms to 1 common room, and then there is a washroom as well. You can do something like that, or but that's sort of the biggest suite we have.
I think that'll work. A couple of us could double up.
Of course. Cool. Let me write this down in the ledger, and then when you leave tomorrow, we'll count it all up. That for that particular room, it is about 5 gold a night, but the way some of you are dressed, I don't think that's too much.
Bryn's gonna scamper up the stairs to the second floor.
I would follow Bryn.
You hear the familiar sound of Yvette snoring.
Lilith turns to Isgrim and says, "Would you like to go help me feed the birds?"
Isgrim nods and starts heading out towards the stables.
Astor's just gonna go and sit beside Narroth next to the fire.
And Dav will join Bryn and Zarrius at this point, I think.
Ooh.
Okay, sure, let's do the Bryn Zarrius scene first. You do hear the snoring coming from one of the rooms, and you kind of get the smell of sweat and alcohol, and you can tell that the door wasn't actually fully closed.
Bryn will slowly creak open the door.
Bryn being taller than Zarrius, I would probably be fitting in the bottom part of Bryn's peak.
So you walk in and you see Yvette and another man sitting in the laying in the bed that's set up.
I wouldn't walk in. I would peek in and see this
Yes.
without actually going in.
Is this a familiar person?
No.
Oh shit.
This is a blue tiefling.
Oh shit.
Oh, jeez.
Bryn is gonna try to, as stealthily as possible, sneak back out, because she probably got a footstep or two in.
Would Bryn realistically make any noise?
Who knows? She's got lots of moving parts on her, lots of metal.
Okay. I think it'd be funny if we wake Yvette up. So
I mean, I could do a stealth
say-
check.
Sure, do a stealth check.
It's probably not going to be pretty. Yeah.
So, immediately, Yvette seems to jump up in her birthday suit, and she sees figures there, and you can tell that her vision is kind of blurred. What's going on? I'm out of here.
Bryn would have covered Zarrius's eyes as she shot up.
And everyone can hear what appears to be the sound of thunder coming from the second floor.
Astor immediately gets up to his feet.
Oh, no.
I don't think Iskrim and Narroth, or Iskrim and Lilith would have really even made it to the stables at this point, and before they hear the thunder.
So it's just me, Zarrius, Dav, and some dude.
Some dude, and Yvette seems to have teleported out the window and appears to be climbing up.
Climbing up what?
The building.
Climbing up the building, yeah.
Okay,
Astor is running up the stairs by this point, by the way.
At this point, I'd stick my head out the window and try and
Yvette,
my-
it's just us.
get my whip around.
No.
Yvette's ankle.
You can't catch me, thieves!
Yvette, it's us. It's just us. Zarrius and Bryn.
She misty steps up to the roof.
Oh gosh.
At this point, we're going to cut away to Narroth just sipping a glass of this berry juice thing. Yeah, this is really good.
We cut away to Lilith and Iskrim outside. We look up at the commotion and see a stark naked woman on top of the roof.
And then come back to Bryn and Zarrius in the random room. Hi, what's your name? I'm Bryn Wanders.
You can tell
Yes.
that so thunderstep technically means he got shocked a little, so he is sort of shaking a little bit, and he kind of like recovers. He says, "What is going on? Who invited you?"
That's what happens when she gets excited.
All right,
And-
come on.
And
I'll just start pushing Zarrius out the door. I'm sorry about all this. We didn't know you were here.
Does Astor arrive yet?
Sure.
Okay, Astor sees Zarrius and Bryn coming out of the room and goes, "What the hell just happened?"
don't go in there.
Okay, what happened?
You hear the sound of someone scrambling inside the room.
You don't have to go out the
Astor.
window. You can come out the door.
It doesn't
What?
sound like he's trying to climb out the window. He's just
Okay.
scrambling for
Clothing.
Close.
So,
We found Yvette's date.
Okay, but what was that sound?
Yvette.
I don't think humans usually explode like that.
Unless they make something magical happen.
Astor just face palms. Where did she go?
We're gonna cut to Iskrim and Lilith at this point. Yeah, so Yvette, there's clearly someone on the roof. Lilith will kind of know who it is.
So Lilith, recognizing who it is, says, I'll be right back. And she opens up a door and steps through it and ends up on the roof, takes off her cloak, and says, Yvette, here, you might want this.
Lilith, what's going on here? Someone's trying to rob me.
No, it was just Bryn and Zarrius. I think they were trying to mess with you.
Why didn't they knock?
'Cause it's Bryn. I don't know what else to say. It's Bryn.
She grumbles and takes the cloak and goes, all right. Can you, let's just get down from here.
Okay, so I says, can you can get down from here, right? You can just, do your thing down there?
She looks down and sees Iskrim. Who's that?
Oh, it's Iskrim. He's a dwarf that's been traveling with us. He's a good guy.
His head is firmly pointed at the ground.
He looks a little modest.
So you've made friends, I see.
We made one or two.
Just meet me in the common dining area in like 15 minutes.
Yep.
And go to the second floor, escort those people out of my room.
Okay, I got you. And Lilith will dimension door down to the ground, walk inside, or say to Iskrim, go take care of the mounts. I've got something I've got to take care of. And she walks inside the inn and up to the second floor where Bryn is.
Yeah, don't expend spell slots for this scene.
Okay.
Okay. So you see Bryn. Basically, Bryn, Astor, and Zarrius seem to be talking.
Lilith just goes, guys, come on, she'll meet us in the common room in 15 minutes. Let her get dressed.
Dressed? She was naked?
Yes, she's clothed now a little bit. I gave her my cloak, but let's let her get some clothes on.
She's
At
not
this
the only
point,
one who
Astor
needs it.
At this point, Astor just face palms and he goes, "I'm gonna go and drink with Narroth," and he walks down.
Narroth and Iskrim, are you just kind of staying there?
Narth's really content looking and tasting his orange juice and looking at the fire and not participating in the madness.
Dav, I think at least Zarrius and Bryn will just hear her raucous laughter going on as this whole thing is going
Yes.
in their head. Okay, so does everyone make their way to the common room?
Yeah.
Of course.
Except
Perfect.
Iskrim, who's feeding the mounts.
Doing
Okay.
the work.
About 15 minutes pass by, and two figures seem to come down the room. The first one is a male blue tiefling, wearing very, very basic, like peasantry clothing. He immediately beelines towards the door and is out basically as soon as he walked down the stairs.
Wait, I didn't catch your name.
Yvette says, not important, not important. Yvette will make her appearance in her full gear. You guys remembered her wearing very like caster robes would be the best way to explain it. She was wearing, practical traveling robes that seemed to basically stand on edge whenever she began to channel her arcane power. You recognize her long blonde hair. But instead of this normal outfit, she seems to have switched to a more practical half-plate sort of gear with various parts of metal covering the more fragile parts of the body. And she appears to have a cutlass down on her right hip and a small metal buckler on her back. Okay. What's going on? How long have you guys been here?
We just got to town a couple hours ago.
So, you've been in town for a couple hours, and this is how you make your introduction?
I mean, no, this is just how we surprise you. Surprise.
Narth waves over. Oh, hi.
Lilith pours Yvette a glass of whiskey.
Cool. What happened to your other friend?
Who's that?
The dwarf you met earlier.
Oh, he's probably feeding the mounts.
Well, he already saw the goods. Better bring him in.
I'll go get him.
So who's this nice man that you met, Yvette?
I don't remember.
Fair enough. He seemed like a nice person. Tell him sorry for us if you ever see him again.
We'll see if he makes his appearance tonight.
So Lilith
There's something
is
worth
going-
appearing for tonight?
Well, I mean, this tavern is kind of the thing to do. So if we're here, I mean, why not?
Lilith is going to go get Iskrim.
And Iskrim's in the stables.
Iskrim sees Lilith walk in, and he stops brushing his horse, which is like gleaming. Did she put clothes on?
She did. It's safe to come back now. You already saw the goods. I mean, there's nothing to be ashamed about. It's only a body.
A body is not for everyone. It is for a particular someone. And I am clearly not her particular someone. Therefore, that was not my right to see.
Well, for some, it is not necessarily a thing that they hide. Hey, if you met me just a year ago, you probably would have seen my goods once or twice.
Well, I'm glad you've learned your lesson. And he walks past you into the inn.
So they can enter the scene at this point, but Yvette's going, all right, what is going on? I've been waiting for you here for a couple days. Probably long. I can't even remember.
How's Phillip?
He recovered. He's gained consciousness, but he still has some work to do before he's ready to do much.
Where is Phillip?
He's on the boat. We ported just south of the forest, but we went to the port town. They wouldn't actually let me into the forest, and they escorted me to this town so I can sit here and do nothing.
Lilith looks at Yvette seriously and goes, "If you need my expertise with Phillip, do not hesitate to ask."
You're talking about your medical expertise, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yvette will turn to Eastgrim. Hi, I'm Yvette. I was caught off guard. Thought someone was attacking me. I apologize. Hi.
That I can understand. And he extends his hand to shake Yvette. Her hand.
Yeah.
Shake her whole body.
Just shakes your bed, yes.
Yvette doesn't have a very firm handshake, but it's confident, if that makes sense. It doesn't have the strength, but the
Swag.
Sure.
Okay.
We met Iskrim on the road before we got to the last town, where we had a little fun predicament, and now are here. We do have a few little things to take care of still, but so far our mission has been successful.
Oh, that's good. You got the magic flaming water thing?
Well, it's not flaming, but yes, we got the magic water thing.
Oh, okay. So just gotta get into the forest somehow, huh?
Yes, we were told how to do that, so I think probably at least tomorrow, if not another day. We'll see how long it takes for us to get settled and whatnot, and we'll probably try and make our way over to get inside.
Yeah, I've been trying to get into the forest for a while, but it looks like it's really hard to explain. It's like I would try to walk into the forest, and then suddenly there'd be a tree in front of me, and then I try to go around the tree, and then there's another tree, or the same tree, or...
Yeah, you gotta get permission.
Oh. Why?
And of course you were probably too tipsy to realize that, so...
I resent that statement no matter how true it was.
Astor stickers again.
Hey, cut it. Wait, Astor.
Hmm?
Yeah, he is here.
Whoa. How's the what's her name?
Lana!
Lana?
Yes, how's Lana?
She's doing great. We had our kid, and she's doing quite well, honestly. I mean, the kid was healthy, Lana's healthy, and after I made sure they were both settled in, I met up with this group again.
I'm glad your kid's still alive.
What's that supposed to mean?
You were at House Collins.
Oh, that's what you were referencing. You see Astor's face kind of just become crestfallen.
Is Phillip your son?
No.
I must be missing something here.
You weren't.
I'm not repeating this story.
And I personally don't know the story too well, so anyone else can take it away.
All the kids that they were killing over in Wexham.
Oh. Okay.
Yes. Well, I don't know what you guys want to do from here, but if you guys can get into the forest, we can go there and head home or something.
We need to help Iskrim at least before we leave.
Do what?
Help her with her problem.
Is
And his problem. God dang it. We need to help Iskrim with his problem, and which is also going to help our problem as well, due to the fact that Iskrim's people are being affected by the Wounded King.
Care to elaborate?
Should we help them out, we may get dwarven reinforcement.
Okay, but you mentioned help, but what does that mean?
I look over at Iskrim and
Iskrim sets his mug down and takes a deep breath and goes into his storytelling voice where, his chest swells and it's like he's talking to his entire clan, even though there's only the other 6 people. Well, you see, there is this... He's almost like a priest, and he serves the Wounded King, it seems, and he has banded my people together to try and take over this continent. And I've tried to reason with them, I've tried to bring them back, and he just holds too much power over them. So, if we could eliminate this Trident Maelstrom who is controlling my people, I think I would be able to help them strengthen their will against the call of the Wounded King, and then I would lend their aid to you and your in your struggle against the Wounded King.
Great theories, and it's a decent plan. Guess I've been busy, haven't you?
quite.
You don't know the half of it.
Yeah, killing kings, fighting some undead.
But it seems like you've
Talking
been
to
pretty
some
busy
dead
too.
people.
And she winks.
Okay.
Just another day.
And Lilith pours her another glass of whiskey.
Okay, so what's your game plan? What do you need? I can tell you a little bit about this town.
Well, if this town can get us into the forest, then that would be helpful.
This town couldn't get you into the forest, but this town can provide you the contact to get you into the forest.
Oh?
Well, it appears that I can't really tell the frequency, but every couple of days they set out a big bonfire behind this tavern, and they this innkeeper cage seems to provide some food, some liquor, and they basically throw this big party between the people of this town and some of the tieflings from this forest, and it's a great moment of, we shall say, community.
Tieflings of the forest.
Yes, it seems like if there is a border town in this forest, they just come out and hang out with some of the locals here. You know, there's probably goods sold, but I don't really pay attention to that.
So you're thinking that we could meet somebody there who would let us in?
But, I mean, the mayor is, well, He doesn't do very much.
Well, if he doesn't do much, how is he the mayor?
I don't know.
But what does he have to do with the bonfire at the forest?
Well, he can at least probably tell you when the next bonfire is.
Oh,
Oh,
Or maybe even Cage would be able to tell you. I really don't know. I didn't think it was very important. Just another party.
when was the last one? Were you here for it? Was it fun?
Yeah, actually,
Was there music? Was there dancing? Did you meet that guy there?
There was music, there was dancing. I stumbled upon it after being escorted from the forest, and there were people there for sure. I don't think that
Nice.
guy was there though. Maybe.
So Iskrim is actually gonna walk over to the bar and get the attention of Cage and order another berry juice because it is far too early in the day for him to be drinking. And he's first gonna make small talk, and he's actually gonna ask Cage about the sword over the fireplace.
That sword over there? But
Yes.
before I we'll say settle down, my wife and I were travelers. We were part of one of the mercenary bands that wandered House Steiner. I'm sure you met a few of them who kind of go in and out of various places, but unfortunately, during our last encounter, she didn't quite make it. So I decided to retire. I thought this would be a better life, and this is the fruits of our wages that we made on the road.
What was her name?
Diana.
Is the sword yours or was it hers?
Oh, that is hers. My stuff is set in my room. I mean, I don't ever want to use my weaponry again, but I can at least don it quickly instead of having to go over to the fireplace to pick up my sword.
So, what is the sword like? Is it one-handed? Is it two-handed? What can I tell about what kind of warrior she was?
Yeah, so this does appear to be a bastard sword. So mechanically it's a long sword. So based on what you understand, she probably was a martial fighter, probably did a lot of single combat sort or single person engaging. You got to think of bastard swords would mostly be beneficial if you're on one-on-one combat. If you were if you're fighting multitudes of people, you'd probably be more beneficial with a shorter weapon that can move a little faster to parry more attacks. But that's probably all you get just from looking at the weapon.
Iskrim nods and raises his glass and does a toast to Diana.
Diana.
Yes. Well, it's all right though. I mean, I named this inn in her honor.
It is a good name. I have heard that every now and then you hold basically a large party outdoors, a bonfire. Is that so?
Yeah, that happens about every three or 4 days, about twice a week. Some people from the forest come out and do some trading. They like to buy some of the spices, and they provide us with some of the herbal medicines of the forest.
Shrooms.
Yeah, but
I was going to say, this town must be very wealthy to have days where you party that often. But now that you tell me it is also a means of commerce, that is very practical.
yeah, I mean, I think the people of House Steiner are very intrigued by the people of the forest, so this sort of crossroads towns brings in a lot of people just so they can sort of see these I don't want to call them creatures because they are just tieflings, but they definitely act differently than how you or I would act.
Why is
How
that?
so?
In what way?
They're more. They have less attachments to things. Like, we live in houses and sleep in beds, but they seem to be people who are just as comfortable sleeping on the floor, looking up towards the sky, and they share their possessions, and they play different kinds of music that is more free per se. It doesn't seem to follow any sort of proper meter, and it's
You
just
sound like my kind of people.
Interesting. I'd like to listen to this music.
well, I mean, if you wait till tomorrow night, I'm sure you will hear all kinds of music.
Done.
So by the time we leave, you need to be able to, play Hendrix and stuff like that. I mean, they are hippies. Let's get some hippie music.
Astor just goes, who?
No, it's like, what? What?
Huh?
That's your one.
That's at least a 2.
Yeah, you're off for next week too. Yeah, so that should be happening tomorrow night. I'm trying to get some pears exported from a couple of the local farms to see if I can make some well, we do a thing where we sprinkle like cinnamon on top of these pears and let them fry for a little bit, trying to get that set up because those sell really well.
So Lilith turns to Cage and goes, "Is this market, I guess you would call it, open to anyone?"
I think it is more of they have a deal with some of the local farmers. They trade goods for a little bit. They're not looking for anything specifically. I guess you can try to sell them something, but they don't buy anything beyond more of the practical stuff.
Okay.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm sure they would love to talk to you, and maybe they have something interesting, but if you're selling more of the practical goods like weapons and armor and, I don't know, healing, like bandages, they're not really into that kind of thing. Now, if you're selling things like liquor and exotic foods and that sort of thing, you would have a much better shot.
So how about some exotic spice from the continent of Excelsior?
The continent of what?
Excelsior.
What?
Okay. There is another land on the other side of, or across the sea from this one. That's where we're from.
Sure.
You realize clearly now, Lilith, that your spice would indeed be considered exotic if this man has not even heard of where you come from. So clearly that would be something they would want.
Ah, yes.
It's possible. You also have to think that they don't have money. I mean, most of it is just a goods for goods sort of exchange, but maybe you can get some interesting medicinal supplies.
Well, I am a. I do have some medical expertise that healing supplies would benefit me greatly.
Oh well, maybe you guys can make a trade.
At this point, Iskrim holds back a facepalm, thinking, why don't we just trade passage into the forest for what we have? But he doesn't say anything because surely his companions must be smarter than this.
Oh no, Lilith was already thinking this, but Lilith didn't want to say it out loud to this guy. She don't know him from a hole in the wall.
And let's be honest, Iskrim is too straightforward to really think like that. like, let's put on a bluff in front of people.
Perfect. Ah, yes. Yeah, so that happens tomorrow night. There's always a lot of prep. But yeah, stay for that. I think it would be a splendid time. I'm sure they would be very interested in all of you.
Are they nomadic?
We think so.
So what do you know?
Not much. We know that there is a town or a city which they congregate, but we don't actually think that they stay there. They think that they just go in there, they have meetings once in a while, and they just sort of disperse. There is the town of Roma. Roma seems to be where they purchase most of their not purchase, but they develop a lot of their agriculture. It seems like it's kind of a rotating responsibility. So one tribe would stay there for a week, and then they get a portion of the crop, and then another tribe stays there for a week as this one goes out for several weeks. And then they have another city in there where they seem to meet about once every couple of weeks, maybe, to have a meeting with all the tribes together under Lady Siliana.
These really sound like my kind of people.
Maybe. I mean, you're not blue.
Oh, sorry. Wanderers.
Oh, and the nomadic type.
Yeah.
I see.
Iskrim vigorously shakes his head as well.
Yeah, so, if you're not in any rush to get anywhere, you should stay here for a few days, see all that sort of stuff. Yvette had lots of fun last time.
Oh, no. She was mostly drunk, I assume.
Mostly. She functions very well for an alcoholic.
Well,
All that wasted potential. Imagine how much better she could function if she weren't drunk.
Those sort of tendencies, those vices normally stem from like parent issues. So I wouldn't give her too much of a hard time.
You see Astor kind of start making a nervous tap on his arm when he hears that.
Okay, because nobody else is going to ask this. Astor was talking about his friend from that he adventured with once upon a time happens to have the same name as you, Yvette.
What?
Astor looks away.
Well,
You know another Yvette? That's kind of cool.
no, no, I'm talking about your last name.
Oh, I don't even know if this is actually my last name. I wouldn't put too much stock in it.
So you don't know Orion?
Should
It's a
I?
constellation.
Ooh.
That's your one.
That was a good one.
It was worth it.
No, these guys talk about him all the time. Well, sometimes. They traveled with Orion Yaldwin.
I might have heard the name before. Didn't he do something a couple years ago? Don't they have a statue of him in Tyria?
They do?
Oh, well, that's cool. Maybe I was named after him.
Who gave you the name?
My mother?
Who's your mother?
Why does she matter? I haven't seen her in a very long time.
Oh, well, I mean, if you were given a name like that, which is fairly unique, I would assume it might be someone related to somebody I know.
I mean, Yaldwin means, like, tieflings are named after their occupation or what they like to do, or, you know,
Brand
their name
wanders.
acts like a then their name acts like a title. Maybe I was named like that as a form of, well, what Yaldwin means, like old friend. Maybe I'm meant to meet old friend. I don't know.
Well, I guess some of
Ye-
us here could consider Ryan an old friend.
Well, consider this. I was named way before this person gained any fame.
I mean, isn't that irrelevant?
I mean, you're trying to say that your friend sort of sire. You're implying that your friend sired a daughter, but did he mention anything about it?
That's not what I was saying. I was saying if you knew him, if you were maybe somehow related. That's all I asked.
Yeah, it was an implication.
I mean, Ryan kept to himself, so
And he was
I
a
mean-
drunkard too, if I remember. If I've heard the story.
So all drunkards are related to each other.
No.
well, either way, it was an interesting way to meet him, seeing as we saw his sister die as well as his nephew. It was rather unfortunate.
Cool. Well, I'm sure he was a great drunkard. Deserving of that statue, I'm sure.
Well, wasn't much of a drunk at that point, but that's neither here nor there.
Hmm. I think at this point we're going to take a quick break,
Okay.
if that's okay.
Yeah. We will be back in just a few minutes. Thank you for tuning in. And we're going to a very quick break, and we'll be back in just a few. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to more Low Rollers Live. After our break, Chris, take it away.
Perfect. So we're still at the inn at the Trusty Devil. The party has been reunited with friend Yvette, who has donned a new look, seems to be wearing more practical gear, and seems to have been keeping her days busy. We're pretty much going to pick off right where we left off. It was just getting late and I need to use the bathroom. So we'll pick it off there with basically the party finishing up the conversation of questioning Yvette about her heritage.
Yeah, I think we pretty much finished that conversation. She sort of cut us off.
Yeah, so next conversation. What do you want to do?
What time of day is it?
Yeah, it's probably like 4 or 5 o'clock at this point. Probably closer to 5.
What's the weather like outside?
It's a light rain, but it's not terrible.
Is it frightful?
What?
Anyways, Astor turns towards Cage, and he asks, "So, while we're waiting here for the bonfire, what are some things you might recommend we do?"
I suggest you eat some of my apple pie.
Immediately, Isgrim says, yes!
Astor kind of looks in surprise, but then smiles. I think you like pie.
Narroth settles back in his seat. This fire is really quite delightful.
Yeah, besides that, you can talk to the mayor, you can see the shops, you can go to the church. There's not much here until dusk hits and people from the farm start coming in.
That reminds me, I noticed that you were taking their names down in a ledger earlier rather than accepting payment. How does that work?
Very perceptive. Most of these people pay me in farm goods.
Ah, that seems like a very, very good arrangement.
Oh yeah, I mean, I import the liquor, but I don't make very much or really any revenue on the food. It's just the farmers come and provide me some of the goods, the spices, the meats, and provides me the flour to bake the bread. Those sort of things, and in return they pretty much get a free meal. I keep track of the tab. They'll only get like a meal for lunch and a meal for dinner, for what they give mostly. So, that's the sort of arrangement we have. But what it does is ensures they come back to purchase alcohol.
How does it do that?
Well, if they think they're getting free food, then they'll want to take the food with something to drink. And so between that pairing, even though they're technically getting the food for free, I get most of my revenue from excessive drinking. So it's a simple business tactic. Give them free food so they in turn buy more alcohol.
Isgrim strokes his beard thoughtfully and nods. Drinks more from his cup of berry juice.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a small town. They prefer to spend their money on alcohol instead of necessities. It makes them feel a little better. They get more work done. And they can't afford enough alcohol to really interfere with their work anyway, so. But yeah, there's not a terrible amount much to do. I can grab a pie out. They were baked this morning, so do that, we can set it with a cup of cream. You can drink that. That's been delivered to me today, actually.
I'll take a whole pie and a cup of cream.
Of course. Let me get that. Anything else? He'll take orders, and then head off to the back. Yvette's gonna pull Bryn aside for a second.
Oh, okay.
Did you tell them my heritage? My namesake? I mean, I didn't tell anyone but you.
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, we talk a lot, and well, I talk a lot, so
I mean, the Randall or Miles or whatever he likes to be called wanted to kind of keep it on the down low, especially with this party, since they knew, right? They thought it was going to cause problems.
ew. Well, my bad.
You just got to be careful. You don't want to give out sensitive information. Something a little more drastic than this. Loose lips sink ships.
That's your one.
It's in character. She's a sailor.
A tap of 1.
Okay.
Well, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. I don't really care. I never met my father, and I barely knew my mother. She'll
Well-
probably come up with a new name soon.
Yeah.
Something less
Probably something to
traceable.
deflect it.
I mean, this Shadowfell nonsense is still rather recent. And I've been living with this name for my whole life, so it just doesn't cross my mind very often.
Right. It's only become a problem very recently.
Yeah. So, I would just be careful. Because at least when we're back in Excelsior.
Bryn takes an imaginary key and locks her mouth. But I am really sorry.
It's okay, I mean, you didn't know, but my cover's blown.
I don't think... Well, I think you deflected well enough.
Oh, I mean, the truth of my heritage, well, who knows?
It's not where you came from, it's what you do that matters, so... I wouldn't worry too much about
takes
it.
a swig. Anyway, what are you gonna do for the next few hours? Day?
Bryn points to an open door.
You gonna go see the farms?
Probably.
Oh yeah, you should come back here tonight. It'll be a lot of fun.
Okay.
Trust me, it'll be a lot of fun.
She kind of like squints her eyes. Like, what are you planning? Okay. I mean, I was planning on it anyways.
Oh, of course. She drinks.
Bryn is just gonna slide out of the tavern before anybody notices. Save
Cool.
some pie for me.
So Cage does come out with a pie and a couple of cups of cream. And you guys can enjoy that for a few hours. Or you guys can go and explore the town. You can have conversations. Tell me what you want to do.
Iskrim takes one pie for himself.
Okay.
Narroth is going to finish his slice of pie and then go explore the town. He's going to start by going up to the innkeeper and saying, "Are there any points of interest in this town that I should know about?"
Not really. There's a couple stores. There's the farms. There's the church. Any of that sound interesting to you?
Narroth nods. I might check out those stores. Thank you. And he's gonna go check out those stores.
I mean, they're pretty mundane stores.
Look at these
There's,
prices.
God. Yeah, there's like a tailor. They have a general goods store. They do have a stables for more mounts if you wanted to purchase another one. There's also a butcher. I don't know if there's not really anything extravagant here.
Okay, Narroth is going to start with the general goods store and then go on to the tailor and the blacksmith and the stables and the butcher. Just kind of look through them, see if he notices anything of interest. He's basically window shopping unless something catches his eye.
Yeah, so even like the tailor's making very practical clothes, doing a lot of repairs, doing that sort of thing. The blacksmith appears to be making more horseshoes and nails and that sort of thing, not necessarily making weaponry, which you're used to seeing in the big city. But they kind of look at you, they wave, see if they are respectful, they come out to greet you, say hi.
Narroth would be respectful, say hello, ask them some, general questions about not only the place that they're in, but, making conversation.
Yep. So all things really point towards this bonfire thing going on tomorrow. They mentioned that it acts kind of as a de-stressor, and kind of a way to bring some of the people from the outlying farms in. But that's basically what you get from the shops, particularly.
Okay. Narroth is going to go to the general goods store and specifically ask about any magical items they might have, or if they have someone who knows magical items a little bit better.
No, not at the general goods store.
Okay. In that case, he's going to go to the stables and check out some mounts, and then he's just going to kind of wander aimlessly, seeing what he sees. What kind of mounts do they have available?
Horses and chocobos. I mean, horses and the non-copyrighted bird.
Okay. He's probably just going to wander around the area, then going probably to the edge of the forest and basically looking and seeing what's beyond, or trying to at least.
It's weird. It seems like your view is always blocked by like a branch or a tree. You kind of try to maneuver a little bit, and your view always appears to be blocked. I know on the map there is a passageway kind of drawn out, but it's not actually there.
Okay. Narroth is basically going to be walking and thinking, internalizing a little bit, and he's going to get out the bracer and the staff and try to see if he can't puzzle out what those things are doing, because that's something he forgot to do in the last town.
Yeah, give me Arcana checks.
So while he's doing that, Lilith is going to stay at the tavern with Yvette and get nice and drunk because it's been a while.
All right. So, Narroth, I'll give it to you. The staff appears to just be an arcane magical focus, but as you inspect it, it's kind of hollow inside. Like, it was meant to encase more magic than it's currently using. Like, the wood is kind of a shell. But that's all you can get from the staff.
Okay, and the bracers?
The bracers, at this point in time, they're kind of mundane metal bracers. There is a sense of primal energy coming from it. But it requires a certain trigger for the magic to work, and you can't necessarily figure out what that trigger is.
Okay. Narroth is just going to be, wielding the staff, and it's a focus, so he's going to try, casting, different like cantrips with them, trying to see if the staff will hold up if struck like a war staff rather than anything else.
Yeah. So.
Sorry.
It does just have the regular properties of a arcane focus. It's just you can tell that it was designed for much more.
Okay. In that case, Narroth is going to kind of hold these items as he loops around and by the farmland, and eventually he's just going to take the main road back to the tavern.
As you walk in, you see the tavern and you see the church right across from it. But yeah, that's about your evening, I guess.
Okay. Narroth is going to make his way back to the tavern then and meet the party when evening arrives.
Sure. Lilith is getting drunk. Bryn is wandering, I'm guessing.
Pretty much, yeah.
You looking for any specific scene, or are you just sort of wandering?
Nah, not a specific scene, no. Just trying to figure out what the crops are.
Cool. Most of it is spices. We see like basil plants. We see oregano plants. We see trees that have certain kinds of fruits like apples and pears. If you go a little further east, you'll see that. But that's about it. Most of the farmers appear to be tieflings. They appear to live on their property. They have a barn and maybe like a house of some sort. And most of them are just doing the physical labor.
Is it mostly like crops, or is there livestock farms as well?
There are a couple livestock farms. It's not as there's not as many as crop farms. So what will happen is most of these farms will have like 5 or 6 cows as well, or like a couple chickens or something like that. But there's only like 1 or 2 places that their primary crop is animals.
Okay. She's just gonna wander around, talk to people, and figure out what's going on.
Perfect.
And eventually make it back.
Well, Eastgrim is in the tavern eating pie.
Yeah, and I think once he finishes his pie, he's just going to go up to the room, lay out his bedroll on the floor, look out the window at the stars. That's about it. He'll do any wandering tomorrow.
Are you going to do that before the dinner events? Or...
Oh, that's right. No, he'll wait till dinner, I guess.
Okay. That leads us to Zarrius and Astor. We'll go Zarrius first.
So, for Zarrius, he would have a slice of pie. Because he likes pie. As do I. And he's had a lot of socializing over the past couple days, hasn't had really a chance to for time to himself. So Zarrius would head up to his room before the dinner party and just start meditating.
Cool.
And kind of do what Bryn's doing and just secluding himself.
That leaves us to Astor.
So Astor's going to have maybe 2-3 slices of that pie. And then after he does that, he's going to actually go behind the inn towards where the forest is. And he's going to kind of just spend his time doing some music stuff. He's gonna do those breathing exercises that Dad showed him. He's going to spend a little time getting more familiar with the flute that he has, kind of try and make it sound even, make it sound nicer than when he first started playing. Then after he spends a little time doing that, he's really just gonna pull out his lute and then kind of go over some routines that he already knows. Just play music, make sure his fingers aren't getting rusty and that sort of thing. So I'm guessing at some point Narroth probably saw Astor doing this thing. You know, maybe relax with his back against a tree while he's sitting on the ground at some point before the dinner thing.
Okay.
He probably joined him while amidst the wandering.
Probably.
Joined him, left.
Okay. So Iskrim and Zarrius eat pie and chill out. Narroth and Bryn wanders and Lilith drinks and Astor plays music. Perfect. That covers everyone. We arrive back at the tavern at various times. It is now dusk, I think 6 o'clock ish, and people are starting to come in slowly. Cage has effectively cleaned the mess. Everything appears polished and wiped down. Everything's cleaned. He has fresh bottles put up. He changes the barrel on the ale tap, and he stands there waiting patiently for the crowd. As we go down, do you guys take a seat at your own table before everyone arrives, or do you guys want to spread out, or how do you want to do this?
Narroth is probably going to settle in his place by the fire.
Lilith probably never moved.
Okay.
Iskrim will probably move over to near the fire as well.
Bryn will probably talk to Cage more about these tieflings of the forest.
Astor will be by the fire.
Okay. So you guys basically make it around the fire. Bryn is talking to Cage there, probably by the bar as he's like polishing a glass over and over again. Yeah, I don't get a chance to talk to them much. I mostly serve them. It's a day off for everyone but me, but you know, it keeps me busy and I enjoy it. They're very open, I guess would be the way I say. They're always accepting of the people here, which is ironic because the forest doesn't seem to let them in. It's a very interesting relationship they have.
I like open. But would you say, well, not inviting maybe, but at least honest?
Yeah, I'll say that. I've only had a conversation or one or two. I don't really participate in their activities just because it's, again, work for me.
Do they speak common or something else?
I mean, they mostly speak common for most of the Genasi in the area, but they speak Infernal like most tieflings do.
Can I have one of those slices of pie?
Of course. Just like a cup of cream too?
Sure.
Perfect. So he dishes you out a piece of pie. Eventually more people crowd in. You mostly see about 10 people come in over the course of time. There appears to be a married couple. A married couple tiefling seems to walk in. They kind of make the loudest noises. You do see a bard come in. It's a female tiefling. She sits there and begins like a song and dance routine as the night goes on. Nothing really crazy at this point, but still there. The most unusual character that you'll see seems to be a farmer, but he appears to be a dwarf fire genasi. So he has like the stoutness of the dwarf, but with the blazing hair, for lack of a better way to put it.
That is cool.
So are you.
Okay.
I think Danny meant literally cool.
Yeah, I got it. but-
Okay.
Okay, cool.
So, general atmosphere is cheery.
Yeah, pretty cheery. It's still early in there. The drinking is still barely starting, but people are talking about the crops. What's being successful, what's not. Some latest of the farm methods that are going on. The bard is bringing plenty of attention to herself. Yvette seems to be probably her biggest fan at this point, being rather raucous and drunk, for lack of a better way to put it, and cheering her on.
And Lilith's probably right there next to her, nice and drunk.
Well, at some point, Astor probably gets closer to you so he can listen in on the music, see if he might be able to pick up some interesting ideas.
It's mostly rhythm. So I am envisioning her with a side drum, and she's beating off certain rhythms and dancing to them while doing like a chant melody on top of it. So it's a very different art form than what Astor does.
He's definitely curious, listening very intently.
Everyone
Iskrim,
else?
Iskrim kind of keeps looking at the dwarf fire genasi, just kind of curious, wondering, looking at what he's doing, and just curious.
How painfully obvious is the staring?
Oh, he probably looked up and stared for a good couple of seconds when he walked in, realized that's probably not appropriate, and he just kind of glances over every now and then.
Okay, so not terribly obvious. Perfect. Zarrius?
Yeah. So before the whole shindig started, he probably snuck up to the rooms, and picked one out, and he started meditating, and he would like to potentially make contact with Obad-hai.
Are you doing this during the dinner stuff?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and roll, I guess.
Question also. I haven't been doing this, but in terms of religion, it's normally intelligence. Have you been allowing us to use the main? Like, would I be allowed to use wisdom for it, or?
So, there's a variant rule in the PHP that allows you to use different stats to represent the skill more. So, if you're trying to recall knowledge about religion, like, oh, I read this in a book once, yada 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 yada, then I would ask you to make it with an intelligence check. Since you're doing something a little more religious in nature, it makes more sense. Not religious, but like Zarrius is actively doing meditation or a ritual or that sort of aspect to it. I think wisdom is a better stat to represent this.
Okay. So then just add 4 to whatever I roll then.
Yeah, so in this case, when you're trying to commune, I think a wisdom stat is acceptable. Is not a knowledge roll. You're not trying to do something like that.
Gotcha. So 15.
Perfect. Yeah, I think Zarrius feels the presence of Obad-hai, but he's not necessarily able to get that audience with him.
Gotcha.
And Zarrius didn't really get audiences with Obad-hai or Asmodeus until the very recent past. So I deities don't talk with their. I was gonna say peons, but that's not the right word. Their acolytes very often.
Okay, gotcha. So he would feel his presence and whatnot, and try to continue to meditate and stay focused, even though there's a ruckus probably happening down below.
It's not terrible. I mean, none of it gets out of control.
Okay. Cool. And that's what he's probably going to be doing for the next 4 hours or so until someone else comes upstairs with anyone from the party, essentially.
Cool. Bryn.
So music is picked up.
Yeah, lots of dancing is going on, I think.
Where's Narroth?
By the fire.
Just scurry over. Tap him on the opposite side of, opposite shoulder of where she's standing.
Narroth looks towards where the tap came from, see nothing there, look to the other side, and say, oh.
She has her tongue out. Why are you sitting here in the corner by yourself?
Narroth looks up and says, honestly, this town is boring.
Oh, come on. Fun is what you make it.
The most interesting place that I have been so far has been this seat right here. I even wandered around the town and found nothing that excited me. This is just, I guess, a little bit slower than what I'm used to.
Oh, come on, big city boy. You can't have some fun in the country?
Doing what?
Well, have you ever heard of cow tipping?
Isgrim laughs.
Has Narroth ever heard of cow tipping?
Oh no.
No. What's that?
Okay, we can't do it now, but... And she like looks around to make sure nobody's listening or anything. But if we go out tonight, I will show you exactly what it is.
Narroth will nod. Fine. As long as it gives some reprieve from the monotony. I can't say that word.
Monopoly.
No.
You said it right the first time.
You did.
Monotony. There
Oh, it
we
will.
go.
But for now, there's an open dance floor.
Narroth actually laughs at that one. No. Just no.
Why not?
I have never seen anyone ever seem to think that a dancing dragon was a good idea. I'm going to follow that example.
Oh, that sounds like the best idea.
Well, there is this tavern that I've been to one time called the Dancing Dragon.
Bryn has the biggest grin on her face right now. Hey, dancing dragon. See? Nudge, nudge.
Narroth just says no. If you're looking for someone to dance, there's a pretty drunk person over that way, and he motions towards Lilith. That'll probably take you up on that.
Well, I don't want to have to catch anybody. Where's Dav?
Dav's already dancing.
Oh, well, I'll go join Dav then.
Dav is like obnoxiously dancing, where he's just kind of like jumping up and down and not really doing anything logical.
I will try to learn this dance. This is a new one.
Astor sees this happen, and then he just decides to stand up and kind of do his own thing as well, try and internalize the music a bit more while he's listening.
Narroth is going to shake his head and go upstairs and get his stuff unpacked.
Okay. The night wears on, and it doesn't go well into the night as you might expect. Around our equivalent of 10 o'clock, it begins to die down. People begin to take off. For those of you who are still downstairs and are not passed out, right now, the man known as Cage is currently wandering around, trying to clean as many things as possible. And you notice that both Yvette and the bard are no longer present in the room.
Huh.
Good for her.
Well, so much for Astor thanking the bard for the good music.
I mean, there's still time to thank her.
I wouldn't want to interrupt.
Well, we've done it once already.
I mean, you have.
And it can happen again.
Astor face palms.
No. Me and Narroth have something to do.
Oh, God.
No. No.
Oh, I'm curious.
Oh, you want to come with?
What are you doing first?
Well, we'll tell you on the way. It's a secret.
How mischievous is Bryn's face right now?
Quite.
So is Isgrim's face.
You kind of see Astor just visibly give up, and he goes, "Fine, I'll come with."
Good. And she'll shout for Narroth to come back downstairs. Narroth?
I suppose Narroth will come downstairs.
Come on.
Narroth falls rather reluctantly.
Since the party seems to have died down, and the night is still young, follow me to a place I found earlier today.
Astor at this point kind of leans in to whisper towards Narroth, and he goes, "What is going on?"
Narroth shrugs. Something about cows? I don't know.
You just see Astor's face is confused. Just absolutely confused.
She leads him outside. And once they get like a decent ways away from other people, she'll turn to Isgrim's with them, right?
Yes.
She turns to Isgrim. Now, what do you bet? Do you think Astor knows what cow tipping is?
Nah. I don't think so. No.
I don't know. He's been on the road for a fair amount of time.
I would bet you 1 copper that he does not know what cow tipping is.
You're on. Astor,
Hmm?
have you ever heard of cow tipping?
Chris, can I roll for this?
Yes, you may.
Odds means yes, evens means no. No.
Oh,
Yes!
She'll flick the copper over to Isgrim. Well, you see, cows have a hard time getting up when you put them on their side.
Okay.
So the idea is you sneak into the farm, tip them over, and run away before anybody catches you.
At this point, Astor is exasperated, and he does another face palm of his, and he goes, well, I guess there's not much else we can do in this area, huh?
Well, Narroth was complaining about how bored he was, so I figured we could do something to cheer him up.
No, so it's your fault, Narroth.
Narroth looks over, and you think this is going to be fun?
Well, you'll never know until you try.
Don't put it down before you try it.
Narroth shrugs and keeps walking.
You get to get the first one.
I suppose we look for cows.
I mean, I know where the cows are, so she'll lead them there. Okay, nice.
Perfect.
Nice and quiet. Kind of like slips through a fence.
Narroth will follow.
All right, watch out for any new pies that we're not going to want tonight. And Bryn will look for their target.
I mean, you can find a target.
I'll find a decent sized one and point at it. All right, Narroth, go.
Narroth looks over, like a little bit confused. Go, just push.
Yeah.
Narroth goes over the cow and tries to push it over.
You push it over.
Okay, so just for clarification, Narroth has the strength to push between 670 and 900 pounds.
He has a high strength.
Not only that, it's from the side too, so.
He's not lifting it.
That's actually how much force it would take to push over a cow. I just
Nice.
looked it up.
Listen,
Interesting.
it's almost damn near impossible to push over cows, man. I've tried.
This is why I've sent Narroth to do it by himself.
Exactly.
This is personal experience.
This is why Iskrim is laughing.
This is why Bryn is laughing.
This is why Astor will soon be laughing.
GM says I push it over, so I guess Narroth
Chris
is the one who
didn't know
laughed.
that was the case, so Chris will retcon.
Should I roll a strength check?
How impossible is it actually?
Between 4 and 14 people.
Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
that's not happening.
Listen, we had the whole defensive line of my football team, okay, which averaged anywhere from, we were pretty strong in high school. We could bench anywhere from 250 to 300 pounds each, and it took 7 of us to push over a cow.
Yeah, sorry, Nara.
All right. So Narroth tries and pushes, and he hears a little bit of laughter from down below. So he takes one of the rings that he recently acquired,
Oh God, no.
turns it a little bit, and he's going to use the ring to cast fear on the cow
God damn.
and have it hurtling in the direction of the party.
Ugh.
Wow.
So there's a giant cow starting to run towards everyone, I think.
Iskrim has no decks. This is not going to end well.
I mean, you guys are far enough where you guys can probably just literally walk out of the way. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, we're gonna do that.
Yes.
Narroth looks over and starts laughing as he sees the whole party running scared.
the
Wow.
only time that magical item's gonna be used.
Zarrius wouldn't have a problem running away if he was there.
I mean, Bryn also has no problem. I don't think any of us have an actual problem running away from it.
Narroth is
It's-
just taking very great enjoyment out of this.
I don't know, man. You get a cow stampede, man. They can run pretty fast. They can run like 25 miles an hour.
Right, but they're not running towards us. They're running away from Narroth.
But it's fear, so they have to sprint.
Yeah, I'm saying they're stepping out of the way is not...
Back to character. Back
Anyways,
to character.
yeah.
So the party steps out of the way of a rampaging cow, and Narroth basically starts laughing as hard as they were when he couldn't push the cow over.
After getting out of the cow's way, Iskrim collapses to the ground and laughs at the whole turn of events.
Bryn laughs at Isgrim collapsing onto a cow pie.
Astor just has tears pouring down his face by this time.
Narroth is going to walk back and be laughing. He's also going to end the effects of the spell on the cow and use and basically, try to calm it down a little bit.
Bryn will help with that as well.
Well, once Astor can see that the cow is calm, he just says to everybody, "All right, we've had fun. I think we should get out of here before anything bad happens."
Well... yeah. But at least we got a smile on Narroth's face. See? That wasn't boring.
Narroth looks over to Bryn and shrugs. Well, you have me there.
See, you just have to find the fun stuff to do.
Yeah, terrorize animals. That's what we should do for fun.
She's like petting the cow. Don't worry, the cow is fine. I have plenty of experience with these animals.
Narroth goes ahead and pets the cow too.
Isgrim, you got a apple?
Iskrim rummages through one of his pouches and he finds a kind of a dried up apple, but yeah, he pulls it out and hands it to Bryn.
Bryn will feed it to the cow for its troubles. Alright, let's get back before the farmer wakes up. Dairy farmers are no joke when it comes to messing with their animals.
Narroth looks over. You're telling me this now?
I mean, that would have been more fun.
No. Let's go.
Iskrim tries to shake off as much of the cow pie that he landed in while they're walking.
I think they just head back in, unless anybody else has anything else.
Just had a cow tipping scene. I'm so confused. Okay, to the tavern.
Does the town look any different at night?
I mean, besides it's nighttime, not really. There seems to be a fire coming from the church. That's about it. Most people are already gone to sleep.
Did you say a fire?
Yeah, like a
lantern?
Like a fireplace.
Oh, okay.
Does it have lights on?
The church is on fire.
Not really. It just appears to be the fires there.
Okay. Narroth is going to look. Oh, the church is still open.
Quick question. Around what time of night would this feel like to the party members?
11 midnight.
Time to sleep.
Iskrim looks over at the church. He goes, that is interesting. I was thinking of looking into that place in the morning. but looks open now.
Well, if you're gonna go, I'll go with you because I'm also curious.
As the party walks by the tavern, they hear really loud, off-key singing from Lilith.
Oh, Iskram immediately heads for the church.
Same with Astor. Here's
Same with
just-
Narroth.
Bryn will break off. I'll make sure she isn't dead or dying.
She sounds energetic enough.
I'll get her to bed.
Thank you.
You guys walk into this church. The door is still unlocked, and for most of you guys who have been in churches, normally it's well kept and well mannered. Like the floor is swept and that sort of thing. In this church, everything appears kind of dusty. The air is not stagnant, but it kind of is, but it kind of isn't. It's in that weird thing where like no one really has opened a window in a long time, but there's still airflow going through, if that makes any sense. But it's kind of a mess. Like you'll see a Bible like left out on the side of the pew. Doesn't appear to be put away properly or anything like that.
Can we see anyone inside the church?
Not immediately, no.
What does the layout look like? Just average church
Yeah,
views,
it-
pulpit?
it's pretty average. You have about 4 pews, so 8 pews, 4 rows of 2 pews. That makes sense? Yeah. They have an altar towards the middle, a pulpit, and like some sort of water basin.
Astor's gonna walk towards the front, kind of looking side to side, taking in the design of the church.
Cool. You see another door slightly open. You see the fire coming from that door.
Astor is going to walk towards the door,
Narroth is going to follow.
and once he gets to the door, he's actually going to knock on the door.
Perfect. Someone goes like, "What? What? Who's there? Do we need to do a service? What time is it?"
Apologies, the name is Astor. I and my companions are visiting this town, and I was curious to speak with the representative of this church.
Come on.
Astor looks towards Iskram and Narroth and gives a slight shrug and walks in.
You walk in, you see a water genasi, sitting there, seeming to wear ceremonial robes. The colors seem to be greenish, like more of a like a bright color green. Think more lime in color. And this person is sitting there, kind of just staring at the fire. How can I help you?
Well, my companions and I were curious about this church. We saw that there was still a fire going on, so we kind of came to sate our curiosity.
Well, you're in the Church of Garl Glittergold. Welcome.
Are you usually awake this late?
Depends on the day.
Did we catch you at a bad time?
I mean, it's late.
Why is this place open so late? What service do you perform?
It's not really open. I mean, we have an open door policy. That's about all we have. It's not a service going on. I mean, you struck me as odd because no one really comes here besides maybe for a service. You caught me off guard, per se.
What services are here?
The church helps host the bonfire that happens every or twice a week. We provide the fire, and yeah, part of the tithes that we get go towards that.
Narroth kind of points to himself and everyone else. As you can probably tell, we're not really around here. Tell us more about this bonfire.
It's a party.
In the church contributes to a party?
Why not?
Doesn't seem to be religious, per se.
What do you know about religion?
Only what I've seen.
You haven't seen much, have you? This is the Church of Garl Glittergold. This is the church of good luck and good fortune. Why wouldn't we celebrate?
What are some of your tenets of your religion, I suppose we'd say?
Always move forward. Enjoy what you can. Be free.
Well, I can think of a certain someone who would definitely embrace this.
Yes, thank you for talking about me right in front of my face. I appreciate it.
Okay, I know 2 people who would embrace this.
Huh.
We have a rather free-spirited companion.
The point of our religion is happiness. For some people, happiness is moving forward. I'm sure you met those prestigious planners that always have their next 20 moves planned. For other people, it is the moment. And we help represent the moment, as well as the people who like to plan ahead.
Well, certainly seems to be a rather interesting outlook on life, I suppose. Not one that I disagree with, I would say.
You can leave the stuck-upness to those Arathis and Palor and Asmodeus, Bane types.
Astor looks towards Narroth and Iscom and he says, I know one person who would not like to come here.
I mean, to each their own, but it's not for what we represent here.
Fair enough. If I may ask, have you always been part of this town, or what's your story, if you don't mind me asking?
I came here maybe about 10 years ago. This church belonged to another disciple, Glittergold. Some tiefling from the forest left the forest, took up residence here. I purchased the plot of land, and I've been residing here ever since. The tavern across the street sells the best pies, and you know, around this time I normally get a hankering for a piece of pie, so I normally go over there and eat a few slices, and yeah, I mean, that's life.
Well, the pie certainly is quite delicious. My friend Iscrim here could definitely attest to that. If I may ask, what do you know about, if you know anything, about how we might be able to cross through the forest?
Those decisions aren't made by our side. You need to talk to the people who come from the forest.
How, I mean, I've heard a few descriptions of them already, but what are your impressions of those folks?
There's this beautiful lady that comes across.
Have you...
I would do anything to just get a few minutes with her.
You just see Astor have a sly grin on his face, and then he says, well, have you ever expressed those sentiments? Going forward.
I tried, but kind of just stay there to stoke the fire, keep everyone happy. In the name of happiness, of course.
Narroth pulls up a chair and with the staff, he kind of points it at the fire, and you can see the fire kind of grow and change color into the green that's his robe, the color of his robes.
Ah, magic type.
And you have someone to stoke the fire.
You just see Astor look towards Narroth, and his smile becomes even more sly, if that makes any sense.
That's what she said. Anyway.
Well, what are your thoughts? Astor turns back towards... Actually, now that I think about it, did we ever ask for your name?
Sorry?
What is your name?
My name's Garrick.
Apologies for not wanting to learn your identity. Well, what do you think? If our good friend Narroth here were willing to stoke the fire for a few minutes, would you be interested in taking a step forward?
Oh, if there's time. If she doesn't find another interest.
Does she just move from one to another at her whim?
Well, most people do here.
I see.
And what is this damsel's name?
Lelia. Ah, she's so beautiful. You see the way her hair reflects in the moonlight.
And what does Lilia do when she's not reflecting the moonlight?
Well, if I took the time to talk to her, I guess I would know that, wouldn't I?
Looks like you have an opportunity coming up here, friend.
Ah, we'll see what actually happens. I'm not gonna hold my breath.
Well, I guess we shall see. Don't worry. I think Narroth and I might be interested in lending a hand.
Interesting.
Iskrim gets up and leaves.
Astor just says, bye.
He makes no motions acknowledging that.
Well, that's an interesting young fella. I think he needs more happiness.
He is quite serious. I don't even know why he wanted to come to this church in the first place.
Oh, curiosity.
I guess. What will be, will be. But, I mean, it is getting quite late. As interesting as this discussion was, I think, well, I personally would like to retire to a bed sometime soon.
Narroth nods. Yeah, we better follow Iskrim out.
Oh, of course. You're welcome here at any time. I'll probably get some sleep soon.
Alright, you have a great evening. We'll see you tomorrow, most likely.
Of course.
Astor gets up and leaves.
Narroth is gonna follow.
All three of you make it back to the inn. Bryn, what do you do with Lilith?
Oh, while all that was happening, once Bryn broke off from to go back into the tavern, she'll find Lilith. I'm sure it'll be very easy.
Sing off key.
Horribly off key. Not just off key, like horribly off key.
Okay, I think it's time for bed.
Dog, come on, have another drink.
She'll like get behind Lilith and like lift her up by the armpits, basically. Come on.
Ah, you party pooper.
Well, here. Tomorrow is a bonfire, and I won't do this to you tomorrow. How about that?
Okay.
Did Zarrius get to bed?
I don't know.
She'll sling Lilith's arm over her shoulders to kind of help her up the stairs, because I'm sure she's not going to be able to do it by herself. And what about Yvette? Did she get to bed? She's not drunk somewhere, right?
I think she went with the woman that was singing.
Damn. She's getting the whole town, isn't she?
I guess.
She needs to,
The woman singing was an attractive woman.
she needs to learn to save some for the rest of us. Anyways, let's get you to bed. Get you sleeping. And rested up for our party tomorrow.
Okay.
And she'll take Lilith upstairs and get her situated. Probably find Zarrius at the same time.
Cool. I think he went to bed. And this puts us with Iskrim coming in, followed shortly by Astor and Narroth.
Iskrim's gonna go ahead and go upstairs and lay out his bedroll on the floor and go to bed.
Narroth? Astor?
Narroth is gonna pretty much do the same.
Same for Astor, just bid Narroth good night.
Yeah, except, going in a bed instead of on a bedroll on the floor.
Same.
Cool. At this point, the night ends, and this particular camera fades to black, but another one appears, and we find ourselves back at Excelsior. We see the figure of Mild Miles in his full Asmar form. He has his white hair flowing down, his older complexion of this humanoid form. His eyes have gone white at this point, and smoke slightly comes out of it, and his wings are at full width. Next to him is another Aasimar standing forward. He is the figure known as Commander Kai. He also has his full wingspan going forward, and at that moment they both take up and start flying out, heading towards the mountain range, and they look back briefly and see Luke Wheatley, Elise Wheatley, Rameth and Crewfin sort of waving and watching them take off, and we fade to black.
Alright, that's going to end it for us here tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. If you want to watch or listen to more, you can follow us on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe there. There's a link down below. And we also stream every Monday night at 9 p.m. right here on Twitch TV. Also, Wednesdays at 5 p.m. In case you can't stay up late enough to watch us during the live broadcast. Stay tuned. Go ahead and reload your page in just a moment after I stop this stream, because we are going to have our After the Rolls show, our post show, where we go back over what we've done so far in the campaign and explain some of the reasonings for doing so. So I think tonight we're going to be talking about character creation. That's going to be a good one, so please join us for that shortly. Thank you so much for joining us, and have a great night.